What's up, KFG gang? It's B-Boy John 25, and tonight I'm going to do my AEW Dynamite review and the highlights so you guys can hit that like button and let's get started. AEW was a real professional wrestling show. It was just fantastic. So that's all I gotta say. All Elite Wrestling returns this evening from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, with their second show under the CB virus empty arena show era. AEW Dynamite tonight is advertised to feature a face-to-face confrontation between Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho. Cody will join in for a special guest commentary for the show, and several high-profile matches involving Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and others have been announced. This week's show kicks off with no immediate video intro. Instead, we shoot live inside the closed set empty arena as Tony Schiavone, joined by Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, welcome us to the show. Tony Schiavone runs down some of the action scheduled for tonight's show, including the AEW ring debut of the Exile One of the Dark Order, Brody Lee, a face-to-face confrontation between Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho, and more. Tony Schiavone gets comments include several shoots, remarks, and inside jokes already from Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega as he runs through the action set for tonight. Cody Rhodes versus Jimmy Havoc. This match was fantastic. I really enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Havoc lost. His undefeated streak is over. So that's all I gotta say. But this was a good match. They finished by revealing Cody Rhodes versus Jimmy Havoc will kick off the action in the ring. Cody jokes that Jimmy Havoc is 3-0 so far. He is pulling double duty tonight before taking his headset off and making his entrance first for the opening contest. Jimmy Havoc makes his way to the ring as we shoot of some of the wrestlers watching the action together backstage, with Kenny Omega joking about whether or not that many people in one room is even illegal in this state. The bell sounds and our first match of the evening is underway. Tony Schiavone puts over Havoc as one of the most promising prospects in AEW. Jimmy Havoc jumps off to an early offensive lead, taking it to the American Nightmare. Cody finally slows Havoc down with a series of near back-to-back on the mat. Cody and Havoc shake hands in an unexpected sign of respect before going back at it. Tony Schiavone mentions Jim Ross would be live tweeting during tonight's show on Twitter. Meanwhile, Cody locks Havoc in a figure 4 leg lock. He pulls on the ear lobe of Cody to try to fight his way out. He pokes Cody's eyes and escapes. The action spills to the floor as we see another shot of the wrestlers watching the action in the locker room backstage. Chris Jericho joins the guys, who are all clearly rooting hard for one guy or the other, as Tony Schiavone brings up the gambling done last week's show, primarily by MJF. Cody and Havoc fight to the entrance way, where Havoc stops to put on an announcer's headset, making Cody not the only one who has provided guest commentary in addition to wrestling. Havoc is dominating the action now as the match returns to the ring. He stops on the elbow and hand of Cody as we see a split screen shot of wrestlers watching backstage again. Cody back body drops Havoc over the top rope and out to the ramp way outside the ring. Cody with a flying lariat before the match resumes inside the square circle. Cody takes his weightlifting belt off and throws it at Brandy Rose on the outside. We see another split screen shot of the wrestlers watching backstage as Havoc surprised Cody by slapping the armbar on him out of nowhere. Cody is stuck in the hole for several moments, before finally making it to the ropes, bringing AEW referee Arby Edwards in to break the hold. Back back on the feet, Havoc blasts Cody with the modified codebreaker type of move. He pulled on the fingers and hand of Cody as we see Chris Jericho and the rest of the AEW locker room shouting on as they watch from the monitor in the locker room. Cody hits a reverse suplex off the top rope before two crossroad finishes off Havoc, giving him his first single loss on AEW Dynamite. The locker room reacts some happy and some upset. The winner of the match, Cody Rhodes. Jake the Snake Robert hypes Lance Archer delivers challenge to Cody Rhodes. This promo was fantastic by Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake the Snake Roberts is featured in the pre-tape promo hyping Lance Archer and talking about him comping at the bit to get inside the ring with anyone from All Elite Wrestling. The WWE Hall of Famer continues to put over Archer as we see fire blazing in the background and very dark room with the fire snapping and crackling as Roberts delivers it says the virus message to Cody. Robert says he just wants one meeting with Cody and Lance Archer as they get done what they want to do. He tells Cody the ball is in his court before closing with his old WWE catchphrases. Trust me, Cody. We hear a commercial break as we catch Cody reacting slowly to the message from Jake Roberts as he exits the ring, and we go to our first break of the evening. This promo was fantastic by Jake the Snake Roberts. Up next we have Darby Allin talks super bad people. A new Darby Allin Black and White Ventures airs with Allin talking about dealing with super bad people before claiming he is going to make a sacrifice of Kip Sabian tonight to send a message to the inner circle. Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus Darby Allin. This match was fantastic. Darby Allin looks great in the ring. After the Vantage, we shoot back live where Kip Sabian makes his way to the ring, accompanied by Penelope Ford, as highlights are shown of his interaction with Colt Cabana on last week's show. From there, Darby Allin gets a cool ring entrance treatment as a video shows him in Marty McFly fashion skateboarding outside as he holds on to the back of the truck. It pulls him into the entrance circle and ramp of the AEW Dynamite set, and he rolls to the ring as Cody puts him over on commentary as a man with a young Sting vibe. The bell sounds and the action goes as Cody and Tony Schiavone talks about Chris Sabian's interaction with Colt Cabana on last week's Dynamite. Darby Allin slaps a headlock on Kip that Kip shocks off. Darby Allin shoulder blocks Kip Sabian's down and Kip slide out of the ring to get a breather. When the action continues, we see Darby Allin getting ready for a high spot, and the Penelope gets involved, promoting Darby Allin to go flying out to the floor. Kip follows him out and begins taking over control of the offense, taking it to Darby Allin. We get a rescue it seems, as Cody and Tony send it to commercial on the TNT broadcast, and then comment about how they are continuing to fade TV. However, we still see about 10 more seconds of the action before the show abruptly cuts to commercial break, just as the match was about to re-enter the ring. When the action continues, we see Darby Allin getting ready for a high spot, and then Penelope gets involved, promoting Darby Allin to go flying out to the floor. Kip follows him out and begins taking over control of the offense, taking it to Darby Allin. We get a magical scene. It seems as Cody and Tony Schiavone Tony Schiavone sends it back to a commercial on the TNT broadcast and then comment how they are communicating on Free TV. However, we still see about 10 more seconds of the action before slowly erupting cuts to commercial just as the match was about to re-enter. The action resumes as we return from the commercial to see Penelope Ford looking good in a close-up before the camera pans back and we see Sabian taking it to Darby Allin on the floor, still in control of the match. Sabian sends Darby Allin back in the ring, and it is there where Darby Allin starts taking over, making a fire-up comeback while selling his leg. Darby Allin with a brutal cutter for a close near fall. Cody is doing excellent on commentary throughout this entire match and showed the general thus far. Kip is back in control of the match now. As Cody and Tony Schiavone enjoys a Bill Watts comment floor on mat. Reference floor, the American Nightmare as a big spot happens on the floor. Back in the ring again, Darby Allin starts fighting his way back in the match. He gets last super leg lock submission that turns into a pin. He gets the 3. The winner of the match, Darby Allin. Jake Hager versus Chico Adams. This match was good too. We return from the break and we see a cool video package showing the history of Bellator MMA heavyweight contender Jake Hager journey into AEW as part of Chris Jericho's inner circle. After the video, Hager begins making his way to the ring. Brandy Rose formally introduced him and his opponent, Chico Adams, who is already in the ring. The bell sounds about 2 minutes later. It sounds again. Hager wins with ease. The winner of the match, Jake Hager. After the match, Jon Moxley and Jake Hager showdown. After the match, we see Jake Hager celebrating his squad's match victory when out of nowhere AEW World Champion Jon Moxley emerged in the entranceway in a leather jacket. Moxley charged at the ring, climbs in, and Hager stare off other down before going at it. Moxley immediately blasts Hager with a Pentagon Shift DDT finisher. Hager pops up, however, and snatches up Moxley in his ankle lock submission finisher. Moxley escapes. Hager slides out of the ring and retreats. We head back to break. Backstage, Jon Moxley is out for blood. We return from break, and Tony Schiavone mentions how Jon Moxley just showed up announced and took out Jake Hager. He says we are going to attempt to get a word with him backstage. From there, we shoot backstage for a Jon Moxley promo. Moxley says he told us he showed where he wants, when he wants, and he called Hager a big gruesome son of a you-know-what and spoken about him running away from the fight this time. Moxley says things are far from over, promising he is out for blood. He walks off to the end of the segment. Backstage segment, Jon Moxley is out for blood. We return from the break. As Tony Schiavone mentions how Jon Moxley just showed up, announced he took out Jake Hager. He says we are going to attempt to get a word with him backstage. From there, we shoot backstage for Jon Moxley's promo, and Moxley says he told us he showed up when he wants, and he called Hager a big grooming son of a you-know-what, spoken about running away from the fight this time. Moxley says things are far from over, promising he is out for blood. He walks off to end the segment. Brody Lee versus X-Style Vintage. After a quick check-in with the announcer, Tony Schiavone kicks it to another pre-tape video backstage featuring Brody Lee. Brody Lee addresses the the out of touch old man, Christopher Daniels, once again confirming he is Brody Lee, the exile of the Dark Order. Cody says he knew Brody Lee by a different name, and he says it's time to find out what he is all about bell to bell before his ring debut. Tony Schiavone kicks it to another video package that shows how Lee treats his minions. From there we go to a mafia style segment with Brody Lee seated at the head of the fancy dinner table eating a nice meal. He says they are the lions of AEW who preys on the weak. He asks what's wrong with these two, addressing to another members of the Dark Order. As one tries to take a bite of food and he yells at him, Brody Lee scrolls him and chases him off, saying, "You don't eat before I'm done eating." He yells at the other one and chases him off for sneezing. That part was funny. I laugh at that part. That part was funny. QT Marshall versus the exile Brody Lee. Alright, Cody's best friend in the wrestling business, QT Marshall, is introduced and makes his way out as Cody puts him over on commentary. The two discuss Brody Lee's video package and how he treat the other members of the Dark Order. Finally, the exile one, Brody Lee, is introduced and out he comes for the third time tonight. Cody mentions that he knew him by another name. Brody Lee makes his way out in the same cool outfit we saw him in last week doing his debut, with the white jacket and gold and purple. He takes the coat off and hands it to the members of the Dark Order. Brody Lee versus QT Marshall is up next. We see a shot of the locker room as the wrestlers start making some noise as they get excited for this contest. The bell sounds and his serious voice, Tony Schiavone says, "Look at the size of him. My God," as Brody Lee charges at QT Marshall and blasts him with a big boot to the face as soon as the bell sounds. He knocks him out to the floor. Brody Lee goes out after him, dominating QT Marshall with brutal offense as the announcers put him over on commentary as the next potential big thing. Back in the ring, Cody praises Lee for his Kevin Nash-like agility. Lee is dominating what has thus far been a complete and total one-side squash match. Tony Schiavone puts his serious voice on again as Lee lays out QT Marshall with what Cody described as a big boss man like slam. Brody then hits a disgust lariat to take out Marshall, pinning him, and then staring at the camera with a serious stare as his music plays, and the announcers put him over some more. The winner of the match, exile Brody Lee. After the match, hashtag join the Dark Order. After the match, Lee and one of the minions leave a mask inlaid on the layout body of QT Marshall before exiting the ring, heading to the back after the flawless debut. After that, we head to a commercial break. Recapping Matt Hardy's debut and Nick Jackson's injury. We see a video recap of Matt Hardy's debut one last week, AEW Dynamite, before we shoot to another announcer table where Cody and Tony Schiavone promotes tonight's face-to-face confrontation between Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho. From there, the two talk about an upcoming medical update on Nick Jackson before kicking it to a video package showing the attack by the Inner Circle to the Young Bucks member that resulted in his being taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Vanguard 1v 2.0 update. Vanguard 1v 2.0 then join help us with a look at Ranko where we see the Young Bucks member reaching for the drone, only for the video to cut a signal disconnected arrow as we shoot back and live inside the empty arena. And AAA Mega Champion Sammy Guevara versus Kenny Omega. This match was fantastic. Cody and Tony Schiavone welcomes us back to the arena as the theme music hits of the Spanish God of the Inner Circle played singly out next match of the evening here on AEW Dynamite. Sammy Guevara makes his way to the ring as our AAA Mega Champion contest is up next. We head to a commercial break during Guevara's ring entrance. When we return from the break, Kenny Omega, the AAA Mega Champion, makes his way to the ring. Omega, who is also one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions alongside Hangman Adam Page, goes one-on-one with Guevara now in this AAA Mega title bout as the bell sounds to kick off this one off. Omega takes it to Guevara early on, with the Inner Circle member holding his own, but the regaining title holder jumps off to an early offense lead. We see our first shot of the wrestler cheering on the respective favorites as they watch the action on the monitor in the back. Guerrero backflips his way out of a cool standing arm lock on Omega. Things speed up. It says things speed up now, which result in Guerrero's catching Omega with a drop kick before dropping down the mat and break dancing as Omega slides out to the floor to recover back in the ring. Guevara is starting to take over things on offense as he knocks Omega out to the floor again. This time, however, Guevara follows Omega out and slams him into the ring post. We see wrestlers watching once again as Guevara whips Omega into the steel safety rail. Guevara is starting to get cocky now, mixing in some comedy sports as Cody mentions Chris Jericho style, rubbing off one of the young up and comer due to his role in the Inner Circle. Alongside the Fozzy frontman, Guevara is still firmly in control of the offense as we head to a mid-match commercial break. We return from the break and we see the Spanish God still very ignorant and in control of the action of this third defense of the AAA Mega Champion since Omega won the title. Omega finally takes over as Guevara gives him the opening by being too ignorant when the action was out on the floor once again. Omega is dominating Guevara, now bashing his knee into the ring steps over and over again. The match resumes inside the ring where Omega hits a big splash off the top rope onto Guevara. We see a shot of the wrestlers getting tense in the backstage arena as they watch the action. Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn have to be restrained as Tony Schiavone mentions that there is probably money on the line. Tony Schiavone now plugs the new book written by Jim Ross, who they once again mention is doing some live tweeting as he watches tonight's AEW Dynamite show. Checking out the comments for good old JR by checking out his old Twitter page with the action picking up in the ring. Omega is blasting Guerrero with some heavy chops that echo throughout the arena while Cody puts over the power of the chop of the AAA Mega Champion. Omega gets Guerrero across his shoulder and appears confident he is about to finish him off. However, Guevara bites at Omega's ear to escape the hold and they then blast him with a unique kick before locking in a submission attempt on the arm of Omega. He stumps and drops an elbow on the arm of Omega. Now he is settled back in the offense driver's seat in this one. we head to another mid-match commercial break. On that note, we return and see the two exchanging punches. Guevara takes over and hits a standing shooting star press before executing an amazing springboard cutter off the top rope. He knocks Omega to the floor and he hits a top suicide with a flip at the end of it. Guevara is one talent cat. Omega with a V trigger once the action resumes in the ring. The pace picks up and this one now at each other. As each guy scores a near fall after blasting the another with a high impact offensive move. Guevara misses a shooting star press off the top rope. Omega blasts Guevara with a V trigger as soon as he stands up. Guevara bites the hand of Omega, which has been a focal point of his selling the second half of the match, with the announcer consistently remember us of Omega's recently broken hand. He snapdragon suplex does nothing as Omega stands back on his feet. Guevara hosts Omega up, but Omega escapes and hits a running V trigger before a big J driller for a near fall, as we see the locker room pumping for the 10th time as the AAA Omega title match. Omega says this one is for you and then hosts Guevara up and hits a flawless one-winged angel for the pinfall victory. Omega wins to retain. We see highlights of what Cody just described a good fight. We head back to commercial after the match. The winner and still your AAA Omega champion Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy confrontation. This was a fantastic this promo of Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy was fantastic. The confrontation. We return to the show. Chris Jericho music hits as the former Elite Champion makes his way to the ring. He takes the camera from the cameraman and he has hold it, pointing it at him as he plays the role of the fans singing Chris Jericho's theme song this week, counting to rock, and after the music in the arena cuts off, Jericho gets in the ring and he gets on the mic. He talks about Matt Hardy debuting last week as a replacement for Nick Jackson in the first ever AEW Blood and Guts showdown between the Elite and the Inner Circle. As Chris Jericho continues to speak, he tells Hardy to come out to the ring. Instead, the buzzing Dunn flies out to the ring. Jericho fires up, cutting a promo on the drone, calling a piece of you-know-what and a you-know-what as it flies. And ignoring Jericho offers to join the Inner Circle. While Jericho yells at the drone as it flies off, some cool music plays, and we see Matt Hardy appear in the Rafflers the same way he did for his debut on last week's show. In a buzzer moment, Hardy in a hologram fashion teleports to a different spot in the arena, closer and closer to the ring, until he finally magically appears at ringside. He enters the ring. Hardy begins speaking and talks about being magic. When Jericho questions how he did that, Hardy says this place AEW represents freedom. It is his Arcadia. He says he cannot allow Jericho in the Inner Circle to ruin the paradise. Jericho brags about making names and stars out of everyone in the Inner Circle, who he's listed one by one. He says he can do the same for Hardy. He says he's going to tell him one more time not to alliance with the Elite, but instead joining the Inner Circle. Hardy says he is a drama cast, and drama cast is over 3,000 years old. He says he loves to create chaos. Jericho claiming says his Democrats, if you're 3,000 years old, that means you're probably pretty smart, right? He goes on to discover Hardy's appearance. He says he may be different, but at his core he is still the same Matt Hardy he has always known. Jericho says Hardy is missing the point. He says, like usual, he always one step behind. He says he lives in the shadows of his younger brother. Bad booking, and now by the leader of their inner circle, Lee Champion. He says he is going to ask Hardy one more time. You are inner circle or elite? Hardy says delete. Jericho says elite. Hardy says delete. They go back and forth in a moment of confusion. Jericho yells at Hardy to stop. He says there is no one here to cheer and chant with him. Hardy says there are thousands of Essence here. Tony Schiavone informs us that they are trending number 1 worldwide right now. Hardy referenced the Essence, who sings Jericho's theme song every week before singing a remix with the word delete and obsolete mixed with the usual lyrics. Hardy referenced Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, and other Essence in the building after Jericho, frustrated again, points out to Hardy that no one is in the crowd. Jericho takes his glasses off, and Hardy tells him to go ahead and take them off. Jericho says Hardy is the same old man Hardy as always. He says maybe he slapped some sense into him. He goes to slap him, but Matt Hardy cuts him off and drops him. Jericho says maybe he is magic because he took him out with one punch. Jericho says he is magic too and tells Hardy to watch this. He says abracadabra, and out comes Sammy Guevara from behind with a cheap shot that decks Matt Hardy. Now Hardy is helped by Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega, who leave the announcer table to even up the numbers game up in the ring. Matt Hardy magically escapes the ring and yells delete, delete, delete as firepower explodes each time he says it. They will do it. That will do it for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite. Thanks for joining us here, and remember to join us again here next week for AEW Dynamite results coverage once again. For continuing AEW news coverage, follow news coverage. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure to stop by again next Wednesday, same bad time, same bad channel. Stay safe, everybody. All right, AEW was a good show. The reason why I say AEW was a good show because this was real professional wrestling. That's the reason why I say it, and I know TM and DJ Storm's gonna agree with me. Vince McMahon dropped the ball on Kenny Omega, Matt Hardy, Cody Rhodes, and Jon Moxley, and Jake the Snake Roberts, man. They are with All Elite Wrestling. This is real professional wrestling. You know what I'm saying? The two promos was great tonight. Jake the Snake Roberts promo was great tonight, and Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho's promo was good tonight too. The rest of the match was good too. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is from there. So anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review and highlights, please drop a like on this video. Comment down below what you guys think of AEW, and I will see you guys in the next video. KFG Game, Big Boy John 25, and I'm out of here. You guys have a great night.